Assalamu alaikum. This is Mohammad Imran, Assistant English Teacher, Akis Foundation School and College. Today my lecture is on Two Mothers Remember poem. So let's start our lecture on Two Mothers Remember poem. Is written by Joan Snow Duncanson. If you want to learn the poem properly or if you want to get the proper feedback from a poem, then you have to know four parts of a poem. Number one, summary. Number two, keywords or phrasal words. Number three, key sentence or lines of the poem. And you have to know the fourth number, the keys and questions or important questions, and also answer all of the key question or important questions so that you can get a better feedback and you can write down in your exam. I think by this way, whenever you read out and whenever you read out the whole poem, that time you will be easily understand and you can write down in your exam copy. So let's start. At first we are going to know the summary. Summary of the Two Mothers Remember poem is the most important part of this poem, that you have to know the summary properly. Here is given, speakers has two mothers. One is the young stage of life, another one is the old stage of life. Here is mentioned two stages of life means two mothers. So that is why the poet or speaker has already told us she has two mothers. That means poet is women. That is why she has two mothers. One is young stage and old stage. But both of the mothers look, name, appearance are same, but different in ages and physical structures. Whatever poet already mentioned here. Whenever mother is young, that time poet already mentioned there in his poem that she gave her birth, nurtured, and launched her career in future, or for future you can say. So here is the young time mothers take care of us, love us, support us, and protect us, and nurture us, raise us. But whenever a mother becomes old and she passes her old time, that time we see they are weak, they are totally depends on children. By this way poet said mother's two stages. One stage mother is self-reliant, another stage mother's total depends on children's. Here is given two stages of life, but poet at the last hour time poet told that both of the stages, we should remember that both stages of the life represent motherly identity. Where mother is the most important women in the world, children should respect and obey through affection, love, and caring mentality. Both of the stages, what I have told in my summary. So just both of these stages we should respect, obey to our mothers through our caring mentality, love, affection, and obviously we should support them each and every verse so that they can complete their works properly. This is the this is the happiness, this is the inner satisfaction of his speaker's life, that he wants to love both of the stages of her mother. So by this way, poet told us two mothers whom has given the title or caption, Two Mothers Remember. That means দুইজন মাকে আমার মনে পড়ে. This is given and this is the Bangla meaning. Okay, both of these states poet told us that both of the mothers she remembered, and because of her motherly identity. Okay, let's learn some of the keywords just for our understanding. Number one, the diverse. Diverse, according to the meaning of the poem, we have already learned that diverse means, here diverse means is the separate, diverse, and design means structure, and so nurture means raise, and launch means start, and feature means characteristics or appearance, you can also say. Facial expression means just this is a gesture of mouth and speaking style. And mind clouded means this is the less memory, that means less memory if you say in a word. Okay, here we have already learned the phrasal words and keywords of this poem. Let's start our key sentences or lines most important for poem. As the number one, two different people yet with the same name. These lines tell us, and this line meaning is that two different people means two stages of life, young stage of life and old stage of life, and but with the same name. Both stages of the life mothers whenever becomes, but they are the same name, same appearance, same look, and they are the same color design, but their physical structure, their ages and stage of life are different. So, second line, two separate women, diverse by design, but I loved them both because they were mine. Here's these two lines mentioned are that both of the stages of the life, and both of the stages whenever a mother becomes older, that time that mother is also, speaker told it, that mother also belongs to poet, and also we have already seen belong to speaker, and we have already seen when mothers becomes young, that time is also it is speaker's mothers. Both of the mothers are mentioned poets that this is the motherly identity where we can get both of the mothers of the same person, same look, same appearance. That is why both of the mothers identity belongs, and so that poets love both of the mothers, and both of the love mothers are poets. So you can say there is both of the mothers. At last, poet say, in spite of diverse by design, both of the mothers are loved by poet. The third line here is, I got older, she somehow younger grew, and we would love as just mothers and daughters do. These both of the lines mention that whenever speakers get older, they got older, and that is why we have seen that time her mother becomes younger. That means she becomes younger. Her behavior is like a child, and childish behavior mention her that she is becoming younger. That means this is the cycle of the life, and if you say in a word, the circle of the life has changed from young stage to old stage mentioned by this line, and both of these days we would love as just mothers and daughter. That means poet love and just as mother and daughters. That means poet first time poet become poet when gave birth by her mother. That time we have already seen that poet becomes a child, but whenever day by day he grew up, that time he becomes a mother, and her mother was a child, and this is the circle of the life and the cycle of the life, both of these you can say. So these two lines mention us that when poets got older, that time her mother's younger. That means mother's life is like a child, and that time both of mothers and daughter relation is like the same. They love like mothers and daughter, like previous time how they behave each other, and this is the two poems meaning. And the fourth number we are getting the another two lines. Oh, she looked the same, at least at arm's length, but now she was the child and I was her strength. Both of these two lines here is told us that their looked are same. What are remembered about her mothers after becoming older? She thinks that her mother at least arm's length means from distance place. Whenever she looks to her mother, that time she see that her mother's the same women and same appearance and same name and same person, same women, but she was the child and I was her stand. But whenever she becomes older, that time she is like a child. That is why poet mentioned, but she was a child and I was her stand. That means whenever a mother becomes older or grows up older, that time her behavior, her character becomes child. That is why she totally directly indirectly depends on her children, and that is why poet mentions that I was her strength. Okay, fifth number lines we are getting that she gave me her love, which follows me yet, along with example in life, she said. Here is given that both of the lines gives me that what love, mother especially, motherly loving mentality and caring mentality, what shared with her children, that type of that is why the poet that what love, that means what has got and what love has got from her mother, that he is telling that one, what has got from mother's love from her mother, and that love is the following love, and that love she follow that loves follow the poet, that love follows the poet. That is why poets mention that loves follows, and that loves is my is my genetic, and so I follow that loves and I try to cherish that love, and by this I lead my life and pass my life through my mother's genetic from my mother's loving to me. From this way I have got, and this is the generation to generation, and comes from, we know that genetics rules whatever has poet mentioned that means that whenever a mother loves her children, that time that loves, whenever a children or a person becomes older, that time he realize that loves follow him, and by this words speaker is like this one, she follows and she bears that identity what her mother gave him at the time, gave him in her childish time. And so for this reason she has told that she was the child and I was her stray. Here is along with the life set. By this way poet set up her life, that means her entire life set up by this way, when because whenever we have already seen gave mother her love, this is the one of the, you can say, the characteristics and features of a person that he bears from our mothers. And that is why poets say along with and by this way he passes our life or leads our life. Both of these lines tell us this, this is the good behavior that is expressed or that is focused and that is represented and highlights through love that is followed, and that is followed by poet in her entire life, in her whole life. So both of these lines tell us this one and this meaning. Okay, next one we are going to know the next part. We are going to know the sixth important here is given. But then came the time that her mind clouded so, and I sensed that the mother I knew would soon go. Both of this line mention that whenever mothers, when it becomes older, that time it is the ending times comes her life, and it is time to go and depart from this worldly life to afterworld. That is why speakers has told us that time whenever a mother's becomes older, that time he cannot remember anything. That time his memories lays and that time his memories automatically decreased, and that is why the poet told us that I sense that mother, that means whom the poet knew before that mother's times now, at last time, the last moment it is time to go. That means it is time to die, it is time to die. So here is mother, poet told us that this is the older time of the mother, that time he cannot remember anything, and that time is the time of death is coming soon. So by this way poet mentioned that whom I knew, that means whom he knew before that mother is not that one, because he becomes older and it is time to die. That is why I mentioned by this way both of the lines, and both of the lines meanings mentioned what I have already told. So you the two lines, and if my own children should come to a day when a new mother comes and the old goes away. Both of these two lines here say, and if my own children should come to a day when a new mother comes and the old goes away. That is telling the speaker's own son, those she gave birth, especially is telling about them. That's whenever they will reach of that position, of that timeline, that time you will see the mothers will come, new mothers will come, and old mothers mothers will go. That time this situation poet told that whenever her children will face this type of mothers, new mothers will come, means whenever whenever young mothers will become old, and young mother will become old. That means old means new mothers, and the old goes away means whenever his time will come to depart from this worldly life. This was mentioned, that is that the old goes away. By this way he has already told us that one. Okay, by these two lines we have already understood that children's whenever comes that day, mother's day whenever come to them, that means young mother whenever will reach to older mother, that time their time to go from this worldly life to after all. Both of these are mentioned by this way. Okay, next last two lines we have already understood. I would ask of them nothing that I didn't do. Love both of your mothers as both have loved you. That is, both of these lines that told us that I would ask of them. I will ask of them nothing, because that is, the poet didn't do anything. That is why he will not say anything to their children. But he suggests to all of the children, on her children and all of the children in the world, that obviously you should respect, you should love, and you should caring mentality, and you should respect obey your mothers, look after your mothers, love both of your mothers. Both of you have how they love you at the time of your child, whenever you was a child, how they will give you love, how they will affection, how they will console, how they will support, protect, and how they will raise you, and how they will show you caring mentality, and how they will how they will taught you how to walk, how to learn, how to talk, how to eat, and how to behave with others, how they will teach you, treat you, and how they will love you. By this way we should love both of the mothers, both of the stages of mother's life, whenever they will face in their life, whenever they will face that time, we should respect, we should love both of the stages of mother. And though poet didn't do that, after then she suggests all of the children that we should love them both of the stages. Now we are going to know some important key question, that is most important part for all of you know that. So now, how number one, how does the poem Two Mothers Remembered depict the cycle of life? Here is many more question I have already given all of the important question. If you learned all of this, or if you practice all of this, then you will get option the better mark all of this. And this inshallah, this question will come in your essay. This question will be common in your SS exam. I hope it in 2026. So that is why I have already written some of the important question for all of you, just for your understanding. So let's start the first question. I'm just given the answer of the first question already. I will give the first question answer just for your understanding, and the second one I will try to do same way, but the rest of them you try to write down in your copy so that you can get a better feedback. Okay, let's start the first one. If you want to write down the question answer, you should remember that some of the techniques you have to follow. That at first you have to know the meaning of the questions, whatever written, whatever will come in your question paper. That time you have to understand the meaning. Secondly, you have to know the tense, which tense has come, present indefinite, present continuous, present perfect. You just follow the structure of the questions. And third rules I will share with all of you, that whenever you are going to write down a question answer, that time third number rules I will say, you just you just to use the simple complex compound sentence in your writing, so that your writing makes the better complexity follow, and follow the precise, and follow the get a better mark from your exam. You can bear a better marks from your exam. So this is the way of writing. I have already told the thrice way, but here is thrice way. You just try to follow before writing questions. Number one, I have told meaning. Number two, I have told you just follow the tense, which tense the question has come in your exam. And number three, you have to follow in your writing time, in your writing pattern. You try to follow the both of the structure, simple, complex, compound, permit, so that your question answer will be standard, and you will bear good marks, and you will obtain a good marks in your exam. I hope it, inshallah. So let's start. One of the question answer I am just going to say, and practice must be needed. And fourth number, if I say the practice must be needed, try to perfect practice if you want to be perfect in your whole life. If you want to be perfect in your exam, or if you want to be perfect yourself, if you want to show perfect yourself, then you have to practice a lot. Okay, let's start. How does the poem Two Mothers Remember depict the cycle of life? How does the poem Two Mothers Remember depict the cycle of life? This is the cycle of life, means the circle of life, and this is the one of the after mother after mother we see the daughter becomes mother, mothers become older, and by this way this is the cycle of life we have already seen. So how you will answer this one? If you want to give the answer of this one, then you will try to follow by this way. I'm just given one of the answer, and the poem Two Mothers Remember depicts, here is given the as with it depicts the cycle of life, because here speaker we have already mentioned in the poem Two Mothers Remember by this way that whenever she became a child, that time her mother nurtured her and support her, protect her, raised her. And whenever we will see next time, poets becomes mother and her mother became child, and by this way he mentioned the cycle of the life. And also you can say here is already told the two stages of the mother's life, and so one is the young stage and the old stage, and both of the stages is the cycle of the life. And also we have seen the child speaker grew up, and that time she becomes mother, and also she mother and her mother became child. By this way the cycle of the life has mentioned in this Two Mothers Remember poem. This is one of the answer. Another answer, if you write down that way, you try to write down in Two Mothers Remember poems has mentioned two stages of thrice stages of life, two stages of life of mothers, and one stage of life is her daughter. Daughter is poet. Here is the mention the poet herself. So there is the thrice stage of life. Here we have already understood that. By this way we have already seen that the youngest of the mothers try to nurture and gives birth, and also take care of her, and whenever she becomes old, that time poet speakers becomes adult, and that time she plays role as a mother. That time mothers becomes child, and by this way cycle in this poem cycle of the life has mentioned. So by this you try to write down whatever I have told you. If you need, then I will show you on board how to write down the question answer properly. Okay, the next one, what should children do to their mothers in Two Mothers Remember, and why? Here is the what children should do. Children should show their love, affection to their mothers. Both of these stages when they appear, both of these stages they show love, caring mentality, affection to them, and also respect them and obey them. And why? Because each mother bears motherly identity, and they take care of us from, and they do heart and soul struggle for our future, and to launch our future, and to build up our future, and also take care and protect us. And also they they serve us till our death. Even they think about our whole life. By this way, you can write down this question answer. So that's all about Two Mothers Remember poem. You just pick up the important question. If you not understand, then I am here. So I'm trying to time to time give all of the question answer. If you face any problem, okay, try your best. Best of luck to all today about my lectures, and see you later. Bye. Best of luck to all. Assalamu alaikum.